Welcome to the Luke Branquinho Show. Today we're going to go live on the cinch stage inside the RMEF Hunters and Outdoor Christmas. Come inside and give us a watch. Whether we're in studio or at the National Finals Rodeo, you can always check us out on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. My next guests have been successful inside the arena, but they're also very successful outside with their podcast, RümpChät. I got Justin Rumford, 10-time Rodeo Clown of the Year, Barrelman. I'm not sure how they...
Rodeo Clown, yeah.
Let's just do that. Because
Rodeo Clown entertainer, all-around cool guy.
Right.
Whatever you want to say.
Josh Hilton, music director. I mean, you've been in all aspects of the arena.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because I've known you since I was a little kid.
Yeah. No, I started in the back pins and picking up flanks and just being a dirt dauber is what I like to call them, you know, feeding on feed crew with Serbies back in the day.
Right.
And I went to college for radio and they knew that. And then they asked me to do some of their smaller rodeos. I got Denver after a couple of years of that, and that was where it really took me off, and working with Boyd Paul Hamus, and then Boyd took me places, and then all of a sudden Tallman's taking me places, and Hadley and Corley and Wayne Brooks. And I came in the right time, and there was a lot of opportunities. You know, my first rodeo, Clovis, New Mexico, I would do the music for the bareback riding, run down, load the bulldog and steers as the high school band did the music for the timed events. I'd run back up, do the bronc riding, run back down, load calves and team rope and steers, and then go out and finish the rodeo. So when I came in, there were still actual bands.
But the question is, did you get paid for two jobs? Because you were doing two jobs.
It was all one low price.
Yeah.
From the Circle I. So that's how I got in, but just it's word of mouth in this business. I had a booth at the convention for 3 years. Never booked anything.
3 years and didn't book nothing?
Didn't book anything in Vegas. But I was getting them, you know, outside or during the year. And so I didn't do one the fourth year, and I signed 3 contracts out here.
Without doing one?
Yep, John Payne style right there at the bar.
Nice.
So that's kind of the clip notes on how I got into it. But yeah, been blessed to do a lot of different productions, a lot of different areas, and it's given me a world of experience that's helped me with the rodeo manager job at Angelo and stuff like that. So just seeing the whole elements of everything.
Justin, you didn't just start in the barrel. This man was a steer wrestler, professional. I competed against him. I think he beat me once.
Yeah, the year you were rookie of the year in pro rodeo was 2000.
Right.
I was the Prairie Circuit Rookie of the Year. But you know, like I've tried to tell Hambone here, that was a rough bunch of people. We had Ricky Huddleston, Jason Lair, Chancey Larson,
your circuit was
Graves.
ranked.
You know, that year that I finished in the top 5 for Rookie of the Year for the whole deal, and you won it. I love it, but you know, it's the one thing I like more now about being a rodeo clown is I win every performance.
That's right. Your family is so deep rooted into rodeo.
Yeah. So my grandpa Floyd started a rodeo company in 1946.
Holy crap.
He produced his very first rodeo in Sterling, Kansas. From there on, he's had pretty much every small rodeo in the state of Kansas. And he was putting on a lot. We got our PRCA card in 1981. And we had our card from 1981 to 2008, where we sold half of it to New Frontier Rodeo, Jimmy Crothers. We're still in the rodeo business hardcore, you know, because some people are like, well, Rumford Rodeo is gone. But my sister and her husband have Bridwell Pro Rodeos, which produced Salinas and, you know, some of the biggest rodeos on the West Coast.
California icons.
Yeah, and my mother, she's Secretary's Rodeos. My dad still races buck and horse and works about full-time for Benny. My brother enters rodeos. And,
he's in the Northeast circuit though, right?
Yeah, he rodeos up in New York. So, I mean, as far as a family, it's like Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Yeah. So I got the pleasure of going to your hometown rodeo, Sydney.
It was during COVID.
Yep.
They forged on and had the rodeo, and it was so fun because there's guys staying over for a couple days, and so they're, you know, drinking at the Legion Club and partying. But what was fun about all those bulldoggers is that set of steers, Binion had bought them from Hunter, I think, or Hunter got them hooked up anyways. And they had it at Cave Creek in
That's right.
in May.
That was the first rodeo after they canceled everything after Houston.
So they had them in May, and then those steers did nothing but graze until the first week of August. These boys were big, strong, stout. Robbie Hodges was there that year, and I said, let's take a bunch of beer out of them boys because they're getting the crap knocked out of them. And I had a golf cart, we folded it down flat, filled up like 50 cups of beer, and eased on out in the arena. Hot, dry, dusty day, and they're throwing these steers out of the bucket chutes. And let me tell you, those beers didn't last long, but that was a fun experience.
Well, growing up there and with the Surveys and all the production stuff you did led you to San Angelo.
Absolutely, yeah. I had the opportunity to go down there. They had visited with me about it at the finals in 19. Kind of didn't know what to do, and I was still blowing and going rodeoing and really hard. And then the world stopped, and I played daddy daycare for a month and a half, and then I started to get nervous as rodeos in October were canceling. I took the opportunity, called Justin Jonas, the executive director, and moved my family to San Angelo, and it's been a blessing.
Well, one thing about San Angelo, and I'm talking back in 2000 when I first started going to it, it had always been one of my favorites there. So great to the Cowboys. They actually asked the Cowboys, what can we do to help you guys?
Yeah, and that's what I always loved about San Angelo when I was bulldogging, is they took everybody. Because you remember when you'd run your first couple stairs in the Spur Arena, and then it was progressive back into the perfs, and everybody got to go. It wasn't like other winter rodeos that limit and don't have slacks. And, Angelo took everybody. So there's rodeos you go to because you get a check, and that's what you do. And there's rodeos you go to because you love.
Yeah,
and Angelo is one that we love.
Yes.
Yeah.
In my experience of rodeoing, there is 5% of rodeos that really give a shit who is in the arena. San Angelo is the number one rodeo, in my opinion, that they know who's in that arena. Every one of those people in the stands. And you guys do a great job promoting the Cowboys and actually giving the Cowboys some face time with the fans, because let's be honest, we didn't have the fans, we don't have rodeo.
Yeah.
And for me as a young competitor, I didn't really give a shit. I was going to rodeo, I was going to win. Then I started kind of looking at, well, why don't we do this to make this better for the Cowboys? And then the older I got, I said, we need to make this better for the Cowboys, but we also need to make sure it's good for the committees. And no offense to contractors, they've been raping and pillaging the Cowboys for years.
The day of the stock contractor in general, like ruling everything, they did. I mean, growing up, they brought barrelmen and the clowns, and a lot of times even the announcer and everything. And that still happens at some the smaller rodeos, but not like it used to. They used to be judge and jury.
Yeah.
And now, and tell the committees, this is what you're doing, this and that. And it has been a big evolution of the committees going, this is our money.
We're paying you.
But if you look how many more stock contractors, we figured this stat out the other day. In 1986, at the NFR, there was 22 stock contractors that brought stock, 22.
That's it.
This year, there's 86. So from 1986 to 2022,
there's like 96 stock contractors or something like that.
Wow.
Pete Carr told us that, something like that. There is a caveat too, because there is some committees that have these ideas that are awful.
Oh yeah.
And they're not gonna work. And you have to tell these people who live all year long for that rodeo that their idea is stupid.
Yeah.
And
they don't like to hear that, but it needs to be said.
Yeah, you have to make them think it's their idea.
Oh, for sure.
What do you think about this? You were saying something, and oh yeah, and then let them explain it.
Right.
Then
it goes.
It is such a balancing act trying to figure out how to tell them, hey, this sucks, but not.
Right. This sucks. We're not going to do it, but we'll think on it.
Right. There's some great, unbelievably great rodeo committees to work for. Lehigh, Utah, you pull in there, I mean, you're a celebrity.
Right.
Your hometown rodeo, I've worked at 6 times. Santa Maria, California. When you show up in Santa Maria, they show up with a gift basket.
Right.
I mean, and then there's rodeos, and I say it, like Crossett, Arkansas. You pull in there and you wish that you didn't need the money so you could just leave and never go back. Nothing against Cross, it's just a terrible rodeo.
Are you working it this year?
I don't think he's ever going to work it again. And I don't think he wants to.
And
didn't they get you a bunch of diapers, though? Didn't they do a diaper drive?
Shit your pants? Oh, my kids.
When my kids were little.
Sorry, that's understandable, though, right?
Oh, I've seen it.
When they were babies.
Got a story about that.
When they were babies at Crossett, I said, hey, just as a joke, I said, tomorrow night is diaper night. You bring a set of diapers and we're going to throw them into the arena and I get to keep them. And so anyhow, the next day, they did my intro and these people just start throwing boxes of diapers, and not the committee. The fans did. The fans were great. I said something about that rodeo on the podcast. Of course, they found out about it. That guy, he hit me up, 2 years ago?
I don't remember.
He goes, hey, I heard what you said about my rodeo, so you know you won't be back. And I said, I wouldn't go back
For $10,000 a
for
perf.
$10,000 a perf. And he goes, good, because you ain't worth it. I said, you damn right I'm not. Peace.
You haven't seen him since?
Oh, I see him all the time. Like, that's the hardest part about Vegas is, the rodeo community is a small, small world. When you're successful, people hate you,
Oh, yeah.
And so I know that these people talk shit on me, and then you see them at the finals, and they're like, hey, what's up, buddy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ah.
Ignorance is a plague in the rodeo world, in my opinion. It's just, I had a comment said to me the other day, Angelo, we were up for Rodeo of the Year, didn't get it, Fort Worth got it, congrats to them. But it was a comment of, oh, sorry about your bad luck, putting up all that money and not getting anything for it. And I was
Not
like,
getting anything
you
for it, huh?
ignorant son of a bitch. But, I said, that bumped us in, I think, the 7th spot. And so now with this new TV contract, that pays a lot of money, to which that's covering the added money we put in. So a
Nice.
small investment for 2 years is now paid for.
Right.
And we are the 7th largest rodeo. We are putting so much more money in the Cowboys' pockets. We're building our brand. You can't be small-minded.
You told him this. Oh, I love it.
The worst thing in rodeo is one saying, well, that's the way we've always done it.
That's exactly right.
That is the worst.
That has ruined more things in our industry. Like when you think about all the different ways to market, and when you're talking about getting to know the contestants, pro rodeo, we're failing. Unless those guys do excellent social media, Joe Average, who's buying a rodeo ticket, doesn't really know who anybody is. And some of these rodeos that, want to bring in the contestants and kind of spotlight them and stuff. And I've seen it where these guys are like, oh, we ain't going to do that. Well, they're missing a chance, for these different communities to kind of get to know and make more of a fan. Like the BFO has done a phenomenal job.
Yes.
You watch those videos, you watch that one of Weston, you watch a 5-minute video. At the end of the day, if you never met Weston Rakowski, you feel like you could be his best friend after watching his videos, and you feel like you could cheer more.
Well, since I've been rodeoing, PRCA has always been afraid to think outside of the box. I mean, in all honesty, you give them ideas like, hey, let's bring in more sponsors. Let's get rid of exclusivity and sponsors. Finally, they've kind of adopted that a little bit. No, will we ever be baseball or football?
Oh, no.
We'll never be, because we have the animal rights issues.
And every kid grows up with a football or baseball. Not every
Exactly.
kid grows up with a rope and getting on bulls.
Right.
Every
I
kid
mean,
in
it's
Vegas has
just,
a rope.
That is true.
at the South.
That's South Point, yeah. And Yellowstone has brought so much back, in my opinion, to the industry. Now, some of the stuff they do, like having a 400-pound newborn baby calf, and I mean, who walks around with the gloves and
We're
all
putting
that?
the 2 guys in the back of the trailer that were mean to the barrel racers.
Right, right.
Or the gal that said, talking about the nice spurs, and she said, oh, I bet those sing all the way across the barnyard.
But it got, like, for me, flying out of LAX, I used to fly out with my cowboy hat on, and I'd get scowls. Now, Yellowstone, in my opinion, has raised the bar on the Western way of life. You know what I mean? They walk in like, oh, we love your hat. That's a cool hat. Where'd you get that hat? Is that a Stetson? I was like, no, it's a Resistol.
Do they say, are you from Texas?
I get that. Or are you a bull rider? I get that a lot too. I'm like, yes. Yes, I am.
We have a deal in Ponca City. I call it Adult Prom. It's a benefit for some local charities. All these people that go, I see the Facebook page, like my banker, he's like a great guy financially, but he's got softer hands than anything. And I mean,
hands.
he's not a worker, okay? He shows up at this deal, and I mean, he's got on a really nice cowboy hat and jeans, and I'm like, what the hell? I think in our society, there's so much bad crap going on that people are looking for something outside
Right.
the box, like the Western industry.
I went to New York for my surgery last October for my cowboy hat. I mean, people were flocking to me. They thought I was a singing cowboy. I had the physique for it, I guess. But, same thing. They were like, man, that's an awesome hat. I even got asked, is that a costume? I'm like, yeah, sometimes it's a costume. But I mean, they're...
Did you have on carpenter pants?
What stupid question?
Okay.
When don't I sleep
It's
in them. And not only have they helped expand the Western lifestyle, but they're bringing in cowboys. You know, Tilden and those guys, Amberly Snyder were on the show. So, I mean, again, helping give cowboys or cowgirls some face out there and helping grow the sport.
Except the line, again, they gave Tilden, hey, Jimmy, ain't seen you out on the circuit or something like that. We don't say that. Nobody says circuit unless you're talking about circuit rodeos.
Yes, and we're not.
And I gave Tilden crap about it. He's like, hey, man, look, I'm just here.
The cash checked him. The check cash.
Tilden said it took forever to film. Like, he said at first he was just messing with them. Like, they would say, okay, that was great. Say that again, just like you did. However, this time, let's say this. And Tilden's like, okay, and just purposely would not do it right. He said by the time they got done, the film crew was about halfway ticked off. I think that somebody in New York or in LA that doesn't know at all, they think, okay, Rodeo Cowboy. He pulls up in a beat up pickup truck, and before the rodeo, him and his buddies are drinking whiskey and smoking cigarettes on the tailgate, and not
Drunks.
like young, beautiful people like R.C. Lanning had.
It has definitely changed because, again, not too long ago, it was like that. I mean, beer in the locker rooms and all that stuff. And now they're athletes.
Right.
You know, most guys work out and have a routine and a regiment.
And I've talked about that a lot. When I first started, we'd show up my rookie year, Denver, Colorado. We show up. We were in the second and third run. I'm with Vince Walker and that crew, and they're like, let's go watch the perf, right? Let's watch this. No, we're going to the bar. Now it's you get there several hours before, let your horses get rested, go and watch the perf. Then you probably go to the YMCA. You go have a healthy, smoothie somewhere or protein shake. That is what's impressed me so much in the last 20 years rodeo, and to see how that has evolved from going to the bar, and chasing girls to a work ethic.
Speaking of Denver, I wanted to tell a story about, you said him shitting his pants.
Right.
He does this thing, he comes out and he's dancing over the fence, and he always gets there, and at a certain point he kicks his leg up. We're waiting for him to do this. Well, he does the splits, and then he gets up and he doesn't finish his routine and whittles on out. We go on to the bulldogging, I think is what it was. And Boyd's like, where did Big Boy go? This is his time to get established.
I can't leave the arena, did there?
All of a sudden, my phone lights up, text from him, and it's a picture of him on the toilet of the skid mark in his pants.
An accident.
Best thing is, I go, hey, Boyd.
But I spent.
And if you don't know Boyd is the most intense human.
Oh, yes.
So after that, we have a meeting because at Denver, there's a perf every 60 seconds. But Boyd and I planned it, and we went to Leon Vick, our boss there, and we had told him we're going to do this little gag on him. So we get in there because there's been many intense meetings, things not going right. We get started, Boyd goes, Leon, cat the floor for a second. Leon's, sure. He goes, there was somebody in here. We had this crowd. And it was a tough crowd. We could have had them in the palm of our hands from the very start. And this person let us down. And everybody in there is going, oh God, what'd I do? Please not be me. Please not be me. He's like, Stu was great with his videos. So-and-so was good with this. Everybody was great except this person. And then he turns to Rump and he goes, why didn't you kick your leg up on the fence when you had the opportunity? We're trying to get him to say he shit his pants. And I just busted out laughing.
Remember on Forrest Gump when Forrest Gump's talking about Lieutenant Dan, he goes, I hope I don't let him down. That's how I felt with Boyd. And so when he's like, Rump, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
Justin Rumford, RümpChät crew right here. Thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you, man. Hey, congrats on the Hall of Fame career.
Appreciate it, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
RümpChät.com.